Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey.
Why this beat so crazy?
We will make America proud again. And you try to kill our We will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
All right, some serious news here. We start with a Fox News alert. At least 4 people are dead after police say a man fired shots at a Michigan church before setting the place ablaze.
And officials fear the death toll could grow as they continue to search for any remaining victims.
Brooke Taylor all over this, joins us live at the scene in Michigan. Brooke.
Good morning, guys. This was a packed church. You had hundreds of people and families with young children attending this Sunday morning service when the shooter opened fire. So it was around 10:30 a.m. on Sunday when officials say that the shooter rammed his pickup truck right through the front doors of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan, and started shooting at worshipers with an assault rifle. 4 victims died and 8 others are in the hospital. Police say the shooter then set the church on fire using gasoline and burning it right to the ground. 2 of the people who died were shot and the others were trapped in the burning church. Police say there are still people unaccounted for. They're digging through the church debris to find more victims.
I'd also like to acknowledge the heroism of not only the first responders, but the people who were inside that church at the time. They were shielding the children who were also present within the church, moving them to safety. Just hundreds of people just practicing their faith.
The shooter, identified as 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford from Michigan. He was killed in a shootout with officers just minutes later. He was a Marine and served from 2004 to 2008 with deployments to Iraq. He specialized in handling military vehicle equipment, also had a wife and a son with a rare genetic disorder. Meanwhile, the police chief is praising the quick response from officials.
We were on scene within 30 seconds from that original 911 call. Within 8 minutes, that suspect was neutralized in the back parking lot of the church by a DNR officer and a Grand Blanc Township officer.
And officials say there is no apparent connection between the shooter and the church right now. The FBI is leading this investigation. The next step is going to be going through his phone records to try to figure out what a motive is here. Guys.
All right, thanks so much, Brooke. A lot of questions, and that was...
Oh boy, before we continue with today's show, I want to just tell you guys that I love you. I hope everybody that is tuned in right now, that you are blessed, well, and healthy, that you're having a great day, week, month. You know, that 2025 ends well for us all, man. You know, we don't know what to expect next, you know, but we'll bring you some of the best updates, important stuff, best follow-ups, keeping you informed. You know, and on this channel, we keep it real, and everybody is loved, no matter what side you're on, no matter if you agree to disagree, no matter if you're left, right, liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat, we don't care who you vote for. You know, we are advocating for common sense, you know, simple. We spread love, we crack jokes, we keep it real. And if you don't agree with something I say, comment down below, call me out. I'm fine with it, you know. But we're bringing you a huge update and follow-up. And what took place with this tragedy, demonic, evil, coward piece of, you know, and then how they spend it, and then how they spend it and blame conservatives, they blame MAGA, and like I said, Christianity in this country is under attack. You know, we've seen what has taken place, you know, just previously, and just what took place this past month. You know, alone. Christianity is under attack, and we have another one at a church. You know, but a lot of y'all sent me this video as well to get into on the show, and then we're going to do another follow up and on some more big updates that we that they just discovered. You know, but let's jump into this.
And so we have yet again another horrific incident, another horrific act of terror. On Sunday morning in Grand Blanc, Michigan, just after 10:30 a.m. during services at a Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints chapel, a man drove his truck straight into the building, then entered the premises and started shooting people indiscriminately. The early reports are as of now that 10 people had been shot, at least 10 people. We had one victim that died almost immediately, and by the afternoon another fatality was confirmed in hospital. Several people are remaining in critical condition, others stable but badly injured, and now first responders are telling us that it's likely there's more people inside that likely didn't make it, and that's because this sick individual, not only did he shoot up people in the church, but then he lit the whole building on fire. And so the scene is just utter chaos and destruction here. And now, according to police, apparently the gunman fled the scene afterwards, but 2 officers engaged him thereafter. A firefight ensued that ended with the suspect being killed on scene. And of course, there's been a lot of speculation. There's been a lot of people saying a lot of different things. I've been sitting patiently at my computer, not ready to record the video just yet, just waiting for all the information I can gather. And now, well, it seems we've got the individual. Authorities have now identified the shooter as Thomas Jacob Sanford, a 40-year-old Iraq War veteran from Burton, Michigan. Sanford served in the Marine Corps from 2004 to 2008. Now, very little is known about this individual. He doesn't seem to have much social media history, and certainly doesn't seem to have any history on his social media platforms, suggesting what the motive could be here. We don't know exactly what set him off. We still fully don't know. But obviously that's not stopping the internet grifters from jumping all kinds of conclusions. And this of course causes confusion to set online. And almost immediately photos went viral showing a truck with 2 large American flags sticking up.
We seen that, the truck with the flags, you know, it's crazy what people were saying yesterday, you know, a couple of hours ago, you know, and blaming MAGA, blaming conservatives, blaming the gun, you know. I tell you, it's the same crap with these people, you know. And then they see this picture here. Oh, this is MAGA. This is one of those Trumpers. Like I just don't get these people, man. I don't. You know, they see one thing and then that's it. It fits their narrative. They see one thing. That's it.
Out of the truck bed, lodged against the front of the building. People immediately doubted that photo, that would be his truck, especially considering conflicting reports.
During this incident, what we know right now is that a 40-year-old suspect from Burton, he's a male, he drove his vehicle through the front doors of the church. He then exited his vehicle, firing several rounds at individuals within the church. 10 gunshot victims have been transported to local hospitals at this time, including one who has been deceased.
Local police initially told us that the truck was rammed into the front entrance, but as you can see, it seems the truck is lodged into a brick wall. I wouldn't exactly call that an entrance. It could have been an inaccurate description from law enforcement, considering the entrance to this building is actually on the side of the building. And so a lot of people thought it might have been a false flag event. Maybe it was an AI photo or possibly a bystander, somebody who fled the scene and left their car in gear and it simply rolled into the building. But now we know pretty much for a fact that was, in fact, the suspect's car.
And when the shooter came out the door, and then that's when I just put pedal to the metal to try to get out, and that's when he started shooting at our vehicle, and that's what you saw there. And tell me what led up, like what did you see leading up to your windshield kind of exploding or the bullet coming through? So church had started at 10 o'clock. We had our opening congregational hymn. We were getting ready to take the sacrament, and we heard just a loud bang. And then we saw that the front wall, so the front part of the chapel, the wall was cracked. And so we at first figured somebody accidentally had done something. So we started rushing out to go help. And then as soon as I saw the American flags on the truck, and that it was on purpose, and somebody yelled that it was on purpose, we were actually on the phone with him when the shooter came out the door.
We have some eyewitness testimony that suggests that the shooter rammed his truck into the wall, caused chaos, and then, I guess, got out of the truck, went through the entrance and started shooting at people, causing the chaos to, of course, escalate. And actually, the vehicle is how they identified him. People noticed very quickly that he has a veteran license plate. That was very quickly traced to the shooter. To Thomas Jacob Sanford, it was in fact his truck. And so like I said earlier, we know very little about this guy. There's no manifesto. There's no motive that's been released. But before we know anything about this man's mental state or why he did it, well, the left is already seizing on a couple things. First of all, they're seizing on those American flags. That must immediately indicate that this guy was MAGA and this is a right-wing extremist attack. Supposedly, they've dug up photos of the individual's home as well, where allegedly there's a Trump sign, a Trump Vance sign on his fence. Now, it's possible that's his home. It's possible that it's his sign. Maybe it belonged to a family member. We don't know yet. But of course, what you'll notice in the photo is that under the Trump Vance sign, there's actually a stop sign. Now, of course, is that a message? Is it stop Trump and Vance? We don't know. But that's not stopping the left from posting this photo everywhere claiming he's a Trump supporter. And now this is a MAGA-aligned right-wing act of terror. But it doesn't matter because the left is already using it as political ammunition and claiming that this alone proves his motive. They're trying to create, obviously, a counter to all the heat that they've been facing in terms of the increase of left-wing domestic terrorism in the country. But this guy being a Trump voter doesn't automatically serve as the motive of this heinous attack. And I think here is the key distinction that Democrats very obviously want to blur. There's a difference between indiscriminate violence that may stem from possibly a mental breakdown, PTSD, or personal demons, maybe even a personal connection to the people that he was targeting. There's a difference between that and, of course, deliberate political terrorism fueled by rhetoric. What we see on the left all the time is people like Charlie Kirk, people like Steve Scalise, people like Donald Trump targeted and killed for who they were, for what they were saying. We see ICE agents just shot at, federal buildings being firebombed, Antifa mobs assaulting conservatives on campuses and at their counter-protest events. And that, of course, is political extremism and targeted political violence. That's the ideology that motivates the violence. But here, again, we don't know yet. And the attempt to instantly paint this as right-wing terrorism is obviously completely dishonest. If we judged every act of violence purely on whether a person voted for Trump or voted for Kamala Harris by digging up their voting records or going outside their home and seeing what kind of political lawn signs they have, well, obviously that wouldn't make sense. And clearly the issue on the left, with all the violence that we've seen, is that those violent acts are tied directly to left-wing rhetoric, directly to the ideology. But what's happening in Michigan, well, it's still being investigated. It may have been senseless. We just don't know. But to immediately slap a Trump or right-wing label on it and call it political violence, it's a disgusting narrative spin. And it proves once again what we've been saying forever, that Democrats would rather weaponize tragedy to smear their opponents than face the reality of the violence festering inside their own movement. And I'm not saying that to distract or defend. Again, I try to be as consistent as possible. If it turns out there's a manifesto or he etched onto his guns a right-wing message, then I'll be the first to condemn it. I'll be the first to call it out. But I'm not exactly sure that that's where we're headed with this story. I mean, why would a Trump supporter in a right-wing politically motivated attack target a church? It doesn't seem to add up. It doesn't seem to make sense. Again, the left has totally exposed itself as utterly dishonest and shameless. But of course, let's wait for all the facts to drop before we get a final conclusion here.
Oh yeah, we got Miss Caroline Levitt in the building. Oh boy, check it out.
All watched this in horror yesterday. Is there anything that you've been briefed with that could move this story forward to find out what the motive might have been?
Well, first of all, I want to express our sincere condolences to the victims and their families and all of the members of this church who were gathering on a Sunday in the United States of America to worship Jesus Christ. And a crazed gunman rammed his truck into the church and started firing at these innocent Americans. And our hearts break. The president was very quick to put out a statement completely condemning this and assuring the American people that the FBI is on the scene. And I spoke with our FBI director, Kash Patel, bright and early this morning. He assured me and the American public that the FBI is currently executing multiple search warrants at the residences and the family homes of this perpetrator to try to get to the bottom of why he would commit such an act of evil. And the FBI is working with both state and local law enforcement, providing the full support of the federal government. And I just want to commend state and local law enforcement for their swift and incredible response. Local police officers were on the ground of this scene within minutes and neutralized this shooter, no doubt saving lives. And they should be commended. Our police officers are heroes, and this president will always respect them and support them.
They definitely were. They were there in 32 seconds, Caroline. What did the FBI director tell you about the shooter? What do we know?
What we know at this point in time is that he was a member of this Michigan community, that he is a veteran of our United States Armed Forces. He served in the United States Marine Corps in Iraq. His family is cooperating with the FBI, and so they are currently trying to dig in and get to the bottom of why he committed this heinous act of violence. It's unfathomable. And as the president rightfully put in his Truth Social yesterday, this appears to be yet another targeted attack on Christians. And the Trump administration is fully committed to not only investigating these crimes, but prosecuting them to the fullest extent of the law, but also working very hard to prevent them, to see if there's red flags. The FBI is going to treat those as public safety emergencies and investigate them to try to prevent such violence from taking place in our country.
You know, Caroline, we had the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We had the attempted assassination on ICE officers in my hometown of Dallas. And you just obviously just referred to the church. Did this suspect leave any indication that he was trying to target people of faith, more than the obvious of him doing it to a church on a Sunday?
Well, from what I understand, based on my conversations with the FBI director, all they know right now is this was an individual who hated people of the Mormon faith. And they are trying to understand more about this, how premeditated it was, how much planning went into it, whether he left a note. All of those questions have yet to be answered, but certainly will be answered by the FBI. I think the American people in your audience can be assured. Look at the great work that the FBI did in light of, or in the hours and days following the assassination on Charlie Kirk's life. That was a successful investigation, and that investigation continues. And that assassin was, of course, being held accountable in the court of law now.
At least two big meetings for the president today. One is going to be with the Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, at which time I understand they're setting out a framework to end the Israeli-Hamas war, but a comprehensive peace for the region. I understand, too, I have a pretty good source that says Bibi's on board. So do you expect there's going to be a press opportunity afterwards? I get it. I know you have sources working very close with Hamas, not with them, but they have contacts directly there. How close is Bibi to saying yes? How close to Hamas is saying yes? Have they let you know?
Very close. It is going to be a very busy day here at the White House. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will be arriving just behind me in just a few hours to meet with the president and hopefully finalize this peace plan. President Trump and his incredible team have been working so